Hi everyone! So somebody messaged me on Instagram asking me to do a video about troubleshooting a Monstera. They didn't tell me exactly what was wrong with theirs, they just said that it was struggling, and mine's struggling too. So I thought it might be perfect to make a video about it right now and just kind of show you like all of the things that's going wrong with it so that you could have visuals of things to look out for when grabbing one of these. Because I feel like a lot of the people that do videos about like how to take care of a plant, their plants are doing really well, and so it's hard to actually understand what could go wrong because they'll tell you about it and they'll give you the verbalization, but you don't get the visualization, and then you just don't really know what to look for, and photos don't always cut it. If you see a lot of jump cuts in this video, I've been extremely out of breath lately for some reason. I can't catch my breath no matter what. Can't go to a doctor, so don't tell me to go get it checked out. Thanks everyone. So anyways, if you see me kind of breathing heavy or if you hear a lot of huffing and puffing, that is why. Anyways, so the first thing I want to talk about is the leaves on this plant. They're split, as you may see. As this plant matures, each leaf is supposed to get more and more split. So the older the leaf, the more splits it will have. These are understory plants in nature, so they'll be at the bottom of a tropical forest and they'll get dappled light through the tops of the trees. So right now my plant is in a north-facing window because that's all I've got access to. The north-facing window only gives you completely indirect light. So I had a feeling that when I moved here my plant would maybe start struggling a little bit, but I figured I'd give it a shot without any artificial light anyway and just see what happens. So I recently had 3 new leaves come out of this plant. Each leaf will eventually create a new leaf, and then that's it, and then that leaf will create a new leaf and so on, and it will just keep kind of expanding outward. So these new leaves came out, and as they were unfurling, I noticed that they didn't have any splits. And I immediately knew that that was a sign that this plant was not getting enough light. So I'm probably going to put an LED bulb back up above the plant, and then that way it will be getting pretty consistent direct light from above the plant, or indirect light. I'll put it far enough away that it will read to the plant as indirect, because these plants like indirect bright light. You don't want to put them directly up against a south-facing or an east-facing window. They'll do well pretty close to a west-facing window, and then they don't do too well in a north-facing window. So that's kind of the light requirement situation with this plant. I would definitely recommend getting a trellis or a moss pole for it. That's something I haven't done for mine yet because I just haven't really had the spoons or time. So that will help support it and just make it thrive a little bit more. Oh, this little ladybug is so cute. I released some ladybugs in my room the other day because I released a couple hundred of them on my deck. And I have a couple little problems going on inside. I had some spider mites and some mealy bugs, so I figured I'd go ahead and release a couple of ladybugs inside and they'll get to chomping. And this ladybug has just been hanging out on this plant. It's actually really sweet, and there's definitely some things going on because he is enjoying himself, to say the least. So another thing that could go wrong with this plant really easily is overwatering. It likes to be in really well draining soil because it does need to be watered once to twice a week. But you don't want the roots to sit in water. It really hates wet feet or when its roots are sitting in a pile of water. So if you have a dish under it, you want to make sure that you're checking the dish for extra water about an hour after you're watering and it's had a chance to absorb what it needs, and dumping anything extra. And you want to make sure that you're watering this plant early in the morning so that it gets sun all day and it could dry out a little bit afterwards. Because a lot of the time people will water their plants at night, and then that's when you end up with fungus gnats and rot because it's sitting in this water for like 8 hours while you're sleeping and it's not getting any sunlight. And it just doesn't work. So I would definitely recommend watering this in the morning. Another thing that I find goes wrong with these a lot is scale, spider mites, and mealybugs. So I was just talking about spider mites and mealybugs a little bit, but you're gonna notice like little white webbing or white cottony sustenance on your plants sometimes. Don't freak out, just pull out a spray bottle, put a little bit of dish soap or Dr. Bronner's soap in it and fill it with water and spray your plant down. That will usually kill almost anything on the plant. So you want to be cautious of beneficials if you have them inside. Lately I've just been releasing beneficials as I haven't really had the energy to be spraying my plants, although it's not difficult and it only takes a few minutes. I just find also sometimes it could be a little bit rough on the foliage over time and mess with the oils on the leaves. So I do it once or twice and then I leave it to the ladybugs or the green lacewings if I choose to release those and just let it happen. And I try not to fret about it too much. It's nature, let it be, you know? Bugs are gonna end up in your house if you have houseplants. It is what it is. Another thing that could happen with these plants is scale. So when you have scale, you'll notice a tiny little dot on your plant, and when you go to touch it, it will kind of peel off with your nail. It is a bug. So they don't really go away the same ways as mealybugs and spider mites do usually, although ladybugs and green lacewings will eat them. So those are always your best bet if you're open to releasing them in your home. But a great way to get rid of scale is just Q-tip and a little bit of rubbing alcohol. And then you'll just dab each individual scale as you see them, and they'll turn red and kind of flake off. Now we talked a little bit about root rot, but if you do get root rot, you want to take your plant out, trim the rot off of all of the roots, wash the plant really, really well, and wash the root ball to get all of the dirt off, and then soak it in a solution of hydrogen peroxide and water. This will help clean off any residual rot, and then you can plant it in some new potting soil and see if it starts to do better. It may have a period where it kind of looks a little bit sad, but it's just readjusting to its new clean life, and it will be okay after about a week or two. So just to go over everything that we've talked about, things to look out for with this plant are mealybugs, spider mites, and scale. You definitely want to watch for the way that your leaves are coming in and how many splits they have to monitor how much light you're getting and if you're getting enough light. These plants do like a regular fertilizer, I'd say twice a month during their growing season, which is just spring and summer. They don't need fertilizer in fall and winter. I like to use the Neptune's Harvest Fish and Seaweed Fertilizer. It is really stinky, so a lot of people don't like to use it for their indoor plants, but I find that the smell usually fades after it dries. And when I do fertilize with it, I normally do it and then go to work or something, let the smell fade out throughout the day, so I don't really notice it. You do want to get a trellis for this plant. You want to make sure it's getting adequate light, preferably from above if you can. If not, from the side will do. But if you find that your leaves are unfurling like this with no splits, look into getting an artificial LED bulb for a couple dollars on eBay or Amazon and a little light rig for it, and just install it above your plant so your plant will grow upward and continue to thrive. Water this plant once to twice a week when the top 2 inches of soil get dry, and don't overwater it. And make sure that its feet are never sitting in a pool of water. And if you have any more questions about this plant, feel free to ask in a comment below. Like I said before, I'm not an expert on this plant, but I thought it might be helpful to kind of see it in a mode of struggle and see all the different things that can go wrong with it. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Drink some water, water a plant, eat a nice piece of fruit, walk in a park, just do something that makes you smile, and talk to your plants. Talk to you soon, pals. Bye.